Good morning, folks. That was fast. Whatever you guys said to Facebook to get my page back last night, I hope it shows how voices can be heard and censorship can be defeated if the people speak up. Now let's get to the show, starting at spaceweathernews.com, and we find the last 24 hours on our star, taking the northern active regions into the departing phase of their rotation while they remain relatively silent. The solar wind is calm as well, all telemetry is on the descent, and geomagnetic conditions are quiet too. I didn't forget about the UFO on Soho yesterday. It's moved a bit further here on C3 as of this morning, but please know that when the stereo images for this period are processed, we will be watching to see if we can more 3D locate its position in the solar system with that second viewing angle. That'll likely be another day or two. So we go to Sinabung, erupting in the early morning hours yesterday. Some lightning can be seen in the plume, and the ash emissions did continue lightly throughout the morning. Quick alert tonight for the Midwest. The low will drive strong storm activity as it enters the Great Lakes region tonight and through the late hours. So let's get the aesthetic shot of the day from Hubble, NGC 4907, plus an entourage. The galaxy pictured here has a lot around it, including a bright foreground star and tons of more distant galaxies in the background. Let's go to the hard science and start with the sun. They're detecting helium overabundances in specific regions of the solar atmosphere, and it happens to be where the IMF, the interplanetary magnetic fields, stream away from the sun and out through the solar system, connecting the planets inside the solar system circuit. These fields, if you could travel along them and see in plasma view, would look like a spiraling mix of solar protons heading along an invisible line in space. These protons do not contend with Earth's magnetic field, instead sneaking directly into the upper atmosphere at the polar cusp along this magnetic field connection. It's not at all surprising to find their solar genesis points carry enhanced elemental profiles. The electromagnetic activity of seismicity continues to give away their secrets. The work detailing outgoing long-wave radiation variation before large earthquakes has now entered maturity. Dozens of papers on the topic, and when those signals don't match weather or volcanic eruptions, maybe the signals are coming from something else. This is part of the 3-item location forecasting system at quakewatch.net. We're stepping out next to space. It's the latest with Dr. Pierre-Marie Robitaille. If his monopole video doesn't clearly elucidate how out of bounds science has been on the cosmic microwave background, probably nothing will. Using their own words, decades of established science ignored by astronomers. This is our top video recommendation today. Coming down the home stretch, we are seeing the second confirmation in a week that the equatorial regions are expanding in terms of large-scale cells in circulation. Hadley cells, Walker circulation zone, the tropics are ballooned. And while they blame global warming, they also note the likely influence of larger cycles and natural changes. And as we said with the first article on this subject, this is one of the long-term effects we're expecting to see with the weaker magnetosphere, bulging tropical atmospheric zones. And speaking of the weakening magnetic field of Earth, a new study demonstrates that the ongoing shift is likely to begin small navigational issues for both military and commercial air travel in the near future. But also, and much more importantly, the data they are getting from the satellites does not match the World Magnetic Model or International Reference Guide. Going to need to work that discrepancy out pretty quickly. Folks, the electric earthquake stuff is Chapter 7. Magnetic shift of Earth is part of Chapter 8. The IMF, sunspots, solar wind, and how they affect almost everything on Earth is in Weatherman's Guide to the Sun. Today is the last day to get 20% off everything at our store, otf.cells.com. And we greatly appreciate your support. We've got wind maps and shots of our star to close, and of course we'll do this all again tomorrow. Right here, but right now it's 5 a.m. in the new Valley of the Sun. Eyes open. No fear. Be safe, everyone.